You know, if you shave off your mustache, you do realize that eventually it's gonna grow back, right? Because it does. That's how facial hair works. Superman. Welcome back, guys. I finally watched Justice League despite all the critics calling it like a bad movie and mixed reviews here and there. I was still excited about watching Justice League, and now that I finally did, I can honestly tell you what I actually thought about the film, either being good or bad. Now, before I continue, I am going to have some spoilers in this review because I've seen so many like non-spoiler videos already that it's pointless for me to not talk about the film in its entirety. Overall, I did like the film. It has a lot of flaws, but in the end, once everything was over with, I was still excited, and this movie actually made me look forward to some of the solo films that are going to come out with Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman, and even the solo Batman movie. So I am looking forward to these films after seeing these characters work together in Justice League. Superman is in this movie, and you get to see him like a little clip, you know, before he dies. Through like this camera, these kids are talking to him, asking him questions, and he looks terrible. I mean, like, he looks super terrible. I know CGI is like a big topic about movies nowadays, how sometimes in some films it looks terrible, in other films it looks good. But in that opening scene with Superman, in the first like 10 minutes of the film, it looks so bad, and I honestly, like, I was literally hating the movie because of how it looked. And you can even see the CGI on Superman's like upper lip, like whenever he's talking to like other characters, like whenever he's next to Batman, Flash, or any of the other Justice League members, you can notice that CGI on his upper lip, and then it annoyed the hell out of me the entire movie. Aside from that CGI portion on his lip, he was actually pretty good. Superman, surprisingly, was awesome in this movie. Like, I think they finally nailed the Superman that we've been wanting for the longest time. So that worked really well. Now let me move on to the whole Joss Whedon with Zack Snyder thing, because if you're going in there with the entire thought of, you know, there's two directors of this film is going to clash, then yeah, you'll be able to pick those scenes out, because you can see tones clash here and there. Some scenes are darker than others, and it kind of like switches back and forth, like, and it's pretty obvious if you're looking for those changes. But if you're just like an average viewer like me, I kind of forgot about that part, and honestly, it didn't bug me at all. Even though in some scenes I was like, okay, that's definitely Zack Snyder, that's definitely an edit by Joss Whedon, but it didn't bug me as much. Now, if I'm gonna be honest about this film, is that the first half of the film was kind of bad. It was pretty terrible because a lot of the tones clashed. A lot of the scenes that we were seeing with like Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, it felt like kind of Suicide Squad-ish. Like, I feel like the scenes where we just saw them individually was thrown in there to show us like, oh hey, this is what Aquaman does, this is what Wonder Woman does, here's Batman doing Batman stuff. So I felt like it was just kind of thrown in there. It looked pretty cool, but at the same time it felt like the tones didn't shift so well and the scenes didn't flow well altogether. But once we start getting into the scenes where Batman starts actually recruiting the team, it starts to get fun, because like in the trailers, a lot of the things that Batman does with like Flash or Aquaman, we've already seen that. So it's not really all that surprising once we finally get to see them together in the big screen. So it kind of takes it away, especially if you've seen the trailers. But when the Justice League is finally all together, that's when the film starts to work for me, because they actually feel like a team. And that's where I was a little bit nervous, because I wasn't sure that, you know, all these guys coming together was going to work. But turns out that they were pretty amazing together. Like, the Flash was very funny. Aquaman was like the bro of the film, and he legit could have been in his own film in here, because he was just doing his own thing and it worked so well. Cyborg too. Cyborg surprisingly was awesome. I really liked him, even though I feel like he was like in and out of scenes just because he's Cyborg. And honestly, not a lot of people know about Cyborg as much as like the Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman. So I feel like Cyborg was kind of left in the background a little bit as far as like knowing his background, because they kind of like just run through all these like origins really quick, just kind of like giving us exposition of, you know, who are they, what their powers are, and you know how they came to get these powers. Now let me get into Steppenwolf, because honestly he was bad. Like, he was worse than the villain in Wonder Woman. Like, he's very forgettable, and honestly I don't even want to spend time talking on Steppenwolf, because he was just a big CGI monster that collects mother boxes, tries to rebuild his world, and that's basically it. He wasn't meaningful, he wasn't significant, and honestly I'm already getting bored talking about him, because he was literally there just to like collect mother boxes, cause chaos, and obviously for the big battle at the end, which was pretty fun. But Steppenwolf was a big letdown for me. He wasn't a great villain. No surprise there. Outside of the entire team working, Batman or Batfleck, Bruce Wayne, whatever you want to call him, he's great. Like, I really like Ben Affleck as Batman, and I think he's doing great. So I hope he gets to be in his actual solo film, because it'll be really fun to watch him all out as Batman and Bruce Wayne. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is simply amazing. There were a couple scenes where Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman were just talking and, you know, having these conflicts, and watching them together was awesome. Their chemistry was off the roof. And that's another thing about the team. When they're all together, like, you know, working together, it works well. And also whenever they're like bickering and talking back, you know, clashing ideas, it works so well. I actually believe them to be a team, and that's what carried this movie the second half for me. You do get Superman back, and I thought he did amazing. Like, I thought he was really corny and cheesy and stuff like that, just like the old Superman and like the Superman from the comics. So I feel like they know that. And even the scene where Superman fights the Justice League, that was pretty awesome to watch. And the movie overall is very lighthearted. There's more jokes in this one. The color schemes are brighter. You know, it's not so dark like Batman vs. Superman or Suicide Squad. So I really like that. The Superman costume in this one especially looks awesome. It's like brighter. The colors are popping more so you can see them, and they even have more yellow in it. Outside of that, it wasn't all that great. I mean, I know why the critics are hating on it, and that's totally fine. I understand why. I honestly, like, after the first 10 minutes of the film, I was gonna give up because of the whole CGI stuff. Like, there were so many scenes that didn't require CGI. I felt like practical effects would have been sufficient. But when it came down to like the fight sequences, even though it looked super fake and like a video game, I still had fun watching those scenes. The best parts about the film come in the form of the team, or the form of like two of the superheroes interacting with each other. So that was the best part for me. And even like the end credits, there's two. Those were the best parts of the film, I think, because we get one with the Flash and Superman where they're about to race, and then at the end we get Lex Luthor talking to Deathstroke, which was pretty awesome, and it makes me look forward to like the next Batman movie. But with that said, guys, I did have fun with this movie. I was disappointed in the first half, but overall the movie picks up for me in the second half with all the characters and the fighting and all that stuff. So I'm gonna give this one a 3.3 out of 5. With that said, guys, what is your favorite DC movie out so far from the DCEU? And also, now that we are done with superhero films for the year, I'm gonna do my best superhero movie of this year, just like I did last year. So make sure to check that one out. But guys, if you guys are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to share this video and hit the little bell so you can be notified of my next review. But as always, guys, stay tuned.